Up to this point, you've been following along instructions on tutorials, and that's a great way to get introduced to things, but it's not really the best way to own things. So before we go any further, it's time for you to start playing, and in using your own creativity, that's when you're really going to own the knowledge that you've gained, and hopefully have even a lot more fun with it. So let's go ahead and start by opening up a new Max scene. And when you get to your new Max scene, go ahead and do all the things like changing the viewports to default shading, and maybe even go to display selected with edge faces, etc. etc. And do that for all the viewports. The other thing you want to do when you're opening up a new Max scene is go to the Customize and just check your units setup and make sure that you are on US standard feet with decimal inches. You might be there already. Okay. And then go ahead and save it. So go to Save As. And this time you'll start with your last name. And mine is Kuhn. And then your first name, Robert, R-O-B-E-R-T. And then your period, P1. And then you're going to call this one My Interior Space. Or excuse me, My Interior Scene. By the way, when you create a Max file, that is exactly what it's called. It's called a scene. And so that's a scene file, and it's in your scene folder. So when we are creating a scene, well, that's literally what we are creating. Hopefully that doesn't sound too confusing for you. Anyways, in this tutorial, I'm not going to run you step by step through things because, as I said on the outset, it's time for you to make it your own, to own it, to use your own creativity. But I have made a couple up in advance to give you some ideas, but only ideas. And I will cover one thing, and that is grouping, and you'll see why here in just a little bit. So with that, let me go ahead and show you some of the things that I was working on as examples for you guys. Okay, so here's a little one that I made before, and as you can see, it's got a set, just like the one that we built in the tutorials, although this one, the parameters are just a little bit different, the dimensions that is. So for instance, here's the right wall. We've got a length of 16, 14, -6. The floor is 30 feet this time by 16 in width, etc. And then I've got a few new things that I built. And like I say, these are just examples. You do your own thing. I really want you to do your own thing with this one. So for instance, we've got a scene that maybe looks like in a museum or a boardroom, conference room, some kind of thing, some kind of important looking building here. And on the wall, I've got some frames that eventually will put some pictures in. So let's take a look at one of those. I'll actually go Alt-W here. So I've got these frames up on the wall. And how did I go about making those? Well, it was really very easy, actually. I just went ahead and, where is it? Looking for my frame example here. All right. I'm going to use my thing over here to zoom in on it. There it is. Okay. And I'll even isolate it right over here. And by the way, I'm going to start going through things a little bit quicker, especially when it's review stuff. If it's new stuff, okay, don't worry, I'll take my time on it. But if it's stuff that we've gone over before, you probably want me to go quicker. You don't want me to run through everything. That being said, here we go. We've just got a box. Here's some dimensions on it. It's 3 feet by 4 feet by 3, or excuse me, 4 feet by 4 feet by 3 inches. We've got this cut into segments, 12 by 12, basically. And so what I would do next is I would go in here and I would make it an editable mesh. I would go to my polygons. I would probably go to my front view right here. And I've got my select tool selected, so I would select those polygons. I would go to my left view, maybe, and you'll see, yeah, I've selected the back too. Got to be careful for that. And so I'm going to deselect by pushing down my Alt key and dragging a marquee just over here. And you'll see I will have deselected those ones in the back. Okay. And here using my view cube right here, I can get right on the corner and my move tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and push that in a little bit. And you can see now that's beveled those edges a little bit, and that's how I made my frame. That's really all there was to it. So I'm going to end the isolation here and actually go back to the top level here and hide that again. Back to P for perspective here. All right, so that was the frames. Oh, let's see. How did I make this one like this? Well, that was really easy too. Okay, so back to my frame again and isolate that. Yeah, all I did there, that was super duper easy. So here in our front view, we've got our vertice. Select one of the vertices. We use the soft select like we've used before now. Got that. And we just pulled it up, right? And then after I'd pulled it up, I think I changed that a little bit. Here we go. Maybe something a little bit more like that. All right. Yeah, there we go. Pulled that up, and then maybe Control, right? And probably then just took this and not that. Maybe it wasn't soft select anymore. Click off soft select. There we go. Control. Marquee those. Okay, there we go. So something like that. That might not be, the exact shape that I got, but that's how I got it with a lot of fiddling around using the soft select and whatnot. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, but the soft select thing is really kind of fun to fool around with. All right, back to my top level here. And okay. So turn that off. Let's take a look at the table. The table is super duper simple.